You ever play a game that's just bad? Like really bad? Janky controls, awkward animations, terrible voice acting, and yet somehow you're still having fun. Why does that happen? Why do some of the worst games still manage to be enjoyable? What is it about certain bad video games that you find weirdly fun? Which really, that leads us to a bigger question. What makes a game good? Does it have to be polished, critically acclaimed, universally loved? Or is there something more to it? What makes a game good? Sometimes it's nostalgia. Maybe it's one of the first games you ever played, so no matter how bad it is, it'll always have a special place in your heart. Or maybe it's the challenge. The game is so rough around the edges that just trying to get through it feels like an accomplishment. And then there's the games that are just so bizarre, they're entertaining for all the wrong reasons. Whatever the case, fun doesn't have to come from quality. So that still leaves the question, what does make a game good? If you ask the internet what makes a game good, you'll probably hear the usual stuff. Polished mechanics, engaging gameplay, strong storytelling, and yeah, those things are great. But does a game need those to be good? Not really. With my example, Sonic 06, critics ripped it apart. It's clunky, it's broken, has a lot of strange storytelling decisions, and objectively, probably the worst Sonic game ever made. And yet, there's still a small but mighty fan base around the game. So much so that there's a group trying to remaster it completely. Not because it's objectively well made, but because it means something to them. And that's where it gets interesting. Sometimes, the fun of a game isn't in how well it plays, it's in how it feels. A broken game can be hilarious, a bad game can be charming, and some games are so ridiculous that they wrap back around into being amazing. Think about the times when a game's physics glitched out so badly that you couldn't stop laughing, or when the voice acting was just so over the top that it somehow made the game better.
It's no use! Take this! It's no use!
Or when you played a game with your friends and the sheer absurdity of what was happening on screen made it one of the most fun gaming experiences you've ever had. I mean, there's a reason why people love games like Goat Simulator. Those games aren't bad in a technical sense, but they embrace being weird, chaotic, and kinda dumb. And sometimes, that's way more fun than playing another perfectly balanced, ultra-polished AAA title. And then, there are the unintentionally bad games. The ones that didn't set out to be weird, but just ended up that way. These games kinda created their own entertainment, which is something unique that polished games don't have. Games that make you think, this is awful, and I love it. So, again, what makes a game good? And maybe a better question, what makes a game good to you? Think back to the games that shaped you, or something that wasn't all that great by today's standards, but it stuck with you. Not because of the graphics or the frame rate, but because of the moments that you had with it. Video games are like paintings. Half of the painting was done by the developers. The mechanics, the art, the music. The other half? That's you. Your memories, your experiences, the people you played with, and the way you felt playing it. That's what makes a game good. There's a reason people still go back to playing games from their childhood, even though they've aged terribly. A game doesn't have to be flawless to be meaningful. It just has to leave an impression. And that's why bad games can sometimes be the best games, because polished games are easy to come by, and it's easy to appreciate them and move on. But when a game is janky, strange, or just straight up broken, it leaves stories behind. Stories of glitches and impossible mechanics, and moments that made you laugh until you cried. And that's something special. So yeah, play bad games. Laugh at the jank, enjoy the weirdness, and find the fun where no one else does. Because at the end of the day, the best game isn't the one with the highest Metacritic score. It's the one that stays with you long after you've put the controller down. So go ahead, boot up that game that everyone makes fun of. Have the time of your life doing it, because sometimes the worst games make the best memories.